Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA. Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Coaching Youth Hoops Podcast.
They're playing basketball.
Basketball.
Here's our hosts, Steve Collins. And Bill Flitter.
Hey coaches, welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops. Before we jump in today, I just want to make sure you know what's going on. Coach Bill and I, over the last couple months, have been running an on-demand coaches clinic. We're going to just kind of pull the curtain back, let you kind of hear a little bit of what's inside of those, as far as handouts and videos and all that stuff. If you want to see what's available, go over to basketballcoachesclinic.com and check it out. Let's head off to the podcast. Share your screen. Are we going to?
I'm going to share. Yep. Let's get this up. There we go. So game day domination, huh? Dive into it. Okay, again, this reference will be in the course. You can access this. We are not going to cover 28 pages of this today.
No.
We're going to give you an overview. So for those coaches who want to really dive into it, one, it's going to be there, but there's actually, Coach, as you know, a second deep dive inside the Coaching Youth Hoops method that you can go at coachingyouthhoops.com and get in, because this stuff is important. And we get lots of questions about game day prep, game day management. So we actually put in-depth course on this subject. And again, We're giving you the light version today. Again, we'll have, maybe 20% of the audience who want to take that deep dive
and watch the video,
the details and watch the videos and everything else.
So first of all, it's the pregame. It's like, what do you do in your pregame warm-up? Because, as a teacher, and when I do my warm-ups, it is getting them ready for everything that kind of comes into the game. So, if you're running a 5-out or you're trapping or you're shooting a lot of threes, your pregame warm-up should correlate to what you're going to do in the game. It is something that I have gotten better with over my coaching career. You should be able to watch my warm-up and then kind of know what we're going to do in the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? There should be a direct correlation between the two. I shouldn't be doing something in the warm-up that I'm not going to be doing in the game. So shooting a lot of threes is one example. If you're a team that's going to shoot a lot of threes, then you should be shooting a lot of threes in warm-ups. If you're a team that's going to be that defensive stopper, pack line, man, we're going to get in your face and we are going to defend you, then you better see that in my warm-ups. So as the coaches, the previous clinics, we talked about kind of what you were going to stand for and how you were going to do it and blah, blah, blah. That should be in your specific warm-up.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on warm-ups?
Yeah. I've gone, sometimes we don't have a lot of time, right? So
you might have a 3-minute warm up at the youth level.
That's
or you
right.
might have
at
a
the
10-minute
youth
warm
level,
up,
right?
or you might have a 35-minute warm up because the other team only 4 people showed up. So it's like you have to adjust more. I know I'm going to have a 15-minute warm up period.
Right.
I know that's what I'm going to have. But yeah, I know.
If I'm going to pick one thing, especially at the youth level, and they're trying to move you through those games pretty quickly, and you don't have a lot of time, I'm gonna get kids get some shots up, and that's when I'm on the court. What about even before I step onto the court? Right, that's a whole nother thing. So what I like to do is I like to get there, and honestly, I like to get there an hour before the game. Now, some people might at the youth level might find that excessive, but let me tell you what happens. Okay. There's about a handful of people that will show up 30 minutes before. There's a couple of people that will show up 15 minutes before, and there's a person that's going to show up late. Okay. They're going to be running into practice. I do it for 2 reasons. One, I don't want kids running into games late. They like it. It helps them be mentally prepared for the games. Also, it helps me. Then I know how many kids I'm going to have for that game. All I need is 5 to start. Then, okay. That comes mine. Okay, I got my 5, right? And of course, there's ways to manage that through different apps and things. People can check their time in, but that still is not foolproof, right?
No, and I'm going to tell you something as a stats teacher. So, in a high school, they have class periods, right?
Yeah.
And a kid will the first hour, and then the bell will ring and they'll get up and go second hour. Every period, kids show up as a bell-shaped or normal-shaped curve. It's just like the same for practices when you're a youth thing. There's a few kids that show up early and a few kids that show up late. Most people show up in the middle. And it's normally distributed. It's a bell-shaped curve. It's been proven statistically. It's the same with.
Funny.
I'm guessing it's the same with the youth.
Same thing. Yeah.
There's that kid that's going to show up. You tell them an hour, they're going to show up an hour and 20 minutes early because they're just like. Yeah. And there's the kid that's going to show up 30 seconds for tip-off. But most of the people are going to show up in that middle stretch. Yeah. But anyway, it's interesting. But I think it's something that people don't put thought or time into. So
that's right. Yeah.
That's the first
and again,
thing.
That might be excessive. You're listening to this. I'm like, I'm not showing up an hour before. I got better things to do, right? But it's important for you and it's important for the kids to get settled into the game. Maybe it sounds like you're going to, hopefully you're not going to add anything new and change anything, right? That you worked on. But at least you can walk through. Johnny missed both practices during the week, and maybe you just need to do a review of your out of bounds plays, right? You can get your whiteboard out and draw them up, but definitely have a pregame routine. We get together. Does anybody have any questions, or what's the number one? What's on your mind right now? We have a discussion. I just try to meld them into the game and getting them, mentally ready for the game.
I like.
And then if we have time, we have enough balls, and it's if there's room, we'll go maybe just do some passing and light stretching and things like that.
You can always find things to do. All right, what's the next one? Keep scrolling, Coach.
Let's go. Let's talk about diving deeper into. We can talk about this here. I was going to say we can get into some of the details of the game, but obviously, you're going into a game. You should already have your game plan. You should already know what your offense, defense is, and what you're going to run, and where it is in progression. Right. I mean, that's just hopefully you have that. But let's go into the
timeouts.
We talked about, let's go into timeouts. I'm going to skip through the pregame stuff we just talked. We didn't skip it. We just talked about it. But let's talk about timeouts. Effectively using timeouts at the youth level. Okay. They range, sometimes you get 2 that don't carry, or you get 4, 2 in the first half, 2 in the second half. They don't carry over. Right, you got to use them strategically. So, a couple questions for you, Coach. If I get 2 timeouts in the half, when do I use them? Second question is, what do I say during the timeouts? How do I use them effectively?
Yeah, I mean, When to use them is a big thing. I think if a team is doing something to you that is really taking you out of your game, or they're making a huge run, I think that is a really good time at the youth level to take a timeout.
So let's talk about a huge run. Let's get into the details of that. Is that 6 points, 8 points, 10 points? What's a huge run, you think, in your opinion?
I think 8 to 10 points is a huge run. I don't think a couple buckets is a huge run. But again, there's such a scale here because we're talking about such a different age level. So at a third grade level, it might be 2 buckets. Because the final score might be 18 to 12. But at the 8th grade level, you're in the 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe. Yeah. So again, I think it really depends on the specific level you're talking about. So that's the first thing. Second thing is sometimes, and there's a couple. Another one is maybe you only have 6 kids at the game, and you need to take a time out to rest them. Yeah. Which is okay. Then you're going to use that strategically to give them a blow and let them kind of gather themselves. And so I'm not taking that. I'm not taking those. If I only have 6 kids, I'm not taking, or even maybe 7. I'm not taking that second. I'm burning both of those because they're not carrying over or those kind of things. So I think it really just depends on the rules. And then I think the third one is I got to tweak. I got to change out of man and zone, and I'm dealing with a 4th grade team and probably can't do it on the fly. I got to rest them. I got to say, hey, now we're going to do this. So I can reiterate it, talk to them, re-talk to them, re-talk to them, re-talk to them. So they remember, because still only 4 of them will be in the zone and we're in man or whatever it is, though they're going to mess it up. But those are the 3 times that I really think a timeout is important.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And I think you got to teach your kids how to take a timeout. And what I mean by that is, I think one of my bigger pet peeves during a game is I call a timeout. We got, anywhere from a minute to 30 seconds, depending on the league. And they walk over. Right. So you got to teach them what to do when you call a timeout. And this is something you practice. So timeout, you run over to the bench, period. You run. If you're in the game, you sit. If you're out of the game, you stand, right? And you stand around.
Right. Don't assume they know this. Don't assume
exactly.
They know this. Yes.
That's right. Yeah. And then, you listen. Right. And then on the coach's side, I don't know if there's anything else there, right? Run off the court. If you're in the game, you sit down.
And then it's like it's also pay attention, and it's also, if you need, they all have their own water bottles. So, right, part of when I've done it is like I tell them where their water bottles go and how they get them and stuff. Because the funny part is mom's holding it in row 3, or it's at the end of the. I'm just being real from someone that's Coach Youth. It's like, or it's our benches at near the scores table, but their water bottle is 7 seats down. So they're digging and climbing under the, we've all experienced this. It's like, well, so here's how we do it. Here's where your water bottle should be. I will watch them all, put them down here. So when you come, or if I sub you out, it will be down here. Don't assume any base knowledge is what I'm telling.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. Now, coaches, how do you do a timeout if you're a coach? What do you say? What do you do? What are your steps there?
First of all, you're going to give them at the young, probably elementary, you're going to give them one thing. Like you're going to talk about one thing. Like maybe they're not getting back on defense. Maybe they're taking quick shot. One thing. And then you're going to say that one thing probably 17 times. And then what I do is I cold call them, especially some of the younger 3rd or 4th. What did I say? What are we going to do? So I make them repeat it back to me. As they get older, then you can maybe get whiteboard things. You can talk about helpline and rotations, and then you can maybe add a second topic. But what I have read is the biggest issue is what you say last is what they're going to remember. There have been studies on that. So whatever that specific thing is, that's whatever you say as they're leaving the timeout is what they're going to remember. So you have to be cognizant of that when you're talking to them and talking about specific things in a specific timeout.
Yeah. And sound bites. Just think sound bites, right?
Yeah. TikTok,
sound bites.
TikTok.
Yeah, that's right.
TikTok.
And I think the other thing that even before you get to this point is having names and having some common vocabulary. So when you say run Michigan, right?
Right.
Versus saying run, 5 out offense, right? They're going to know that Michigan is their 5 out offense, right? So creating that common language, and they know what it is. Or, hey, now we're running red. Or when you're shouting out red, they know that. So establish that, again, common language. But even little things, what they know when you're, I just ran into this with my 7th and 8th graders. We actually do an exercise of coming up with common vocabulary, and we have a vocabulary quiz, so to speak, right? And so they know that, right?
Yeah, or you're reiterating, you're going over it with them so they can remember it. It's the learning process. Hey, coaches, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a taste of what Coach Bill and I have done. If you liked it, go over and check it out at basketballcoachesclinic.com. Let us know what you think, and have a great day.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.